we like to say that our approach to attendance is all about persistence. We are learned a lot from the spring, and I think a lot of our learnings helped us really think through our protocols and policies for this year. And just like I mentioned, we were able to say this year, if a scholar makes 5 of their 7 classes, they are going to be present. And we were able to over communicate that to families in advance of the quarter and going into the school year. So there were no surprises going into remote school this fall because we had learned so much from the spring and were able to use the data from the spring to help inform those policies. Persistence also comes in with our communication. Just to share a little bit about our approach, we have 2 homeroom teachers that stay with our scholars all day for STEM classes and humanities classes. They are constantly in communication with the scholars in their class. We also have advisors, and so they are also looking at the data to say, how are my scholars? What does their attendance look like for this week, and who do I need to make calls and figure out how we can support them to be better next week? And then the third piece is we have an entire team called KLR, which for us stands for Known, Loved, and Respected. They are team members that are actually making attendance calls within the first 10 minutes of class if a scholar is not present. So some might call it nagging, we call it persistence, to make sure families understand that attendance is really important to us and that we are in partnership in this way and need to keep those lines of communication open. We track all of that in Schoolrunner, which we'll get to a little later, which is also super helpful. And so that's a huge piece of the persistence. And the constant data sharing, we are able to tell families exactly where their scholar is at any given day, how many absences they had, how many classes they missed yesterday in class. And so having this data at the ready from every single member of our team is super critical to make sure that we can double down and be persistent with data in our back pocket to make sure that we are reaching the goals and making sure we're supporting our families and understanding all of this as well.
And I just want to double highlight the some of those protocols and policies. I mean, you talked about people making phone calls 10 minutes into class. I mean, that is very much what we're hearing across the country from schools that are doing a good job at keeping that attendance rate at or close to 95%. It's really about having it staffed appropriately so that there is someone who has that time and attention to be watching that 10 minutes in and then making those calls. And then, like you said, sort of the clear communication around expectations. That's been super consistent in terms of what we've seen across the country.